Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and in this really quick video, I'm going to show you some of the, really impressive and um, exciting features that you can easily apply to your niche community, to your online course community, whatever it is that you're teaching or preaching or selling online using private podcasts. And in this case, we're using the transistor.fm private podcasting functionality, which is really quite cool, quite innovative, and super helpful for those of us who are teaching courses and leading communities with audio-centric content. So here is the back end of our transistor.fm account. These are all public podcasts. This one here is a private podcast, and this is the salient piece of this walkthrough. So you want a private podcast is an ideal way of delivering audio content, audio courses, serialized courses, like a 1 through 10, lesson-oriented course that's only available to the people that you specify or the people that you allow to actually engage with your course content, in this case, your audio course content. Now, there are many ways of enhancing this experience by dint of including other, community building elements like a circle or a buddy press community. And I would recommend Circle or something like that over Buddy Press, but any sort of community engagement element or audience engagement element will really enhance this experience so you can deliver audio content via a podcatcher, so an Apple podcast app, for an example, in my case, in conjunction with a Circle community and email updates. Rather than just blabber on, let me show you exactly what we're going to do here. So this is a test podcast, test private podcast for the purposes of these videos. And the two subscribers are both my own email addresses. So I'm actually going to add another email address here, which is also mine. So you have a choice of adding one subscriber, many subscribers, or creating a shareable link. In this case, I'm just going to add one subscriber, and it's going to be mind@hey.com. All right, so subscriber mind@hey.com has been added and emailed. And let's look at my Hey. Here it is. Welcome to the private podcast. You've been added as a subscriber to Enlightened Up, the members-only audio community for enlightened entrepreneurs. And it's going to allow me to play the latest episode in my browser or to listen via a podcasting listening app, which would be something like, Apple podcasting or the Apple Podcast app. But what's very cool about this is now I'm actually listening to this, or I'm accessing the most recent lesson via a browser, which just gives another level of engagement or opportunity to give your audience the ability to engage with your content in the way that is most suitable for them. So in my case, I'd actually prefer to get my content via Apple Podcasting app on my phone, because that's generally how I consume my content. But lots of people in my orbit don't necessarily have podcasting apps. Like, so my parents, for an example, my girlfriend doesn't, or actually in her case has Spotify as the vehicle by which she gets her podcast. And you actually can't, Spotify does not support private podcasting, which means that someone like, she would not be able to access that particular episode or this particular private feed, but for you accessing it via a browser window. The other thing that's very cool about this is you can see two buttons here, one for view more episodes and one for viewing as, and you'll see this is all a dedicated page just for this email address that I just registered, mind@hey.com, right? So, I mean, literally, this is a personalized experience for your audience. All right, now as you can see, here are all the episodes. and I haven't listened to any of them. So all of these are unlistened to. But if I actually, let's say, clicked on that and played it, which I'm not going to do because it's 46 minutes, but it would show this as played or listened to. And then you can sort these, show just on listened to episodes, and essentially it almost emulates this sort of completed experience that people are searching for with regard to LMS content. So if you teach a course on any platform, you'll know that there is this sort of like next lesson kind of interactivity or functionality that people are used to seeing. And I've noticed that people, when they're not given that sort of heuristic or shortcut, they actually want it. Like a lot of the teachers, for an example, in the Circle community that that I'm in, right? Not the one that I run, but the one that I'm the Circle community itself. Like for Circle owners, a lot of people are, really desperate for these LMS sorts of tools and heuristics within the actual teaching modules. Like they want like next lesson, check for completed. Well, this doesn't do that per se, but it gives you a pretty similar experience, right? So I don't want to play these because I don't know what MP3s they are. But let me just stop that and see if I go back. See, it shows it was just listened to, right? So that's actually the experience that this sort of emulates, right? It says you last listened March 6, 2021 to this particular audio. So you're actually giving your audience the ability to self-track, and they have these metrics that matter, right? So your students will be able to see via these private courses what they've listened to and what they haven't listened to. So let's go back into Transistor really quick, and I'll show you the way that you would add new episodes. And again, this is just a test for this video demonstration that I'm doing, not just for you, but for actual other folks in our community who I want to teach with us. So here we go. I'm going to call this lesson number 7. And it's important to note, I'm a dummy when it comes to this, right? I mean, I've been teaching online and creating content online for a long, long time, but I really haven't used an audio-centric or a podcast private feed before the last week and a half or so, when I really, and there's a whole sort of origin story as to why this is relevant for me, but like I'm just frustrated with the tools that are available to us as teachers, some of which are really good, like Podia we use for our partners.mindfulmarketplace.com community, but there's just not there's too many friction points with respect to how folks are consuming our content. When you make them log in to these back-end experiences rather than delivering the content to them either in a myriad of ways or multiple ways or in ways that conform and dovetail to how they're currently consuming content. Like for me, again, like I mentioned, it's my podcast app, my podcast apps. That's how I prefer to get audio content. But I don't prefer to get audio content in some sort of back-end LMS. Like I don't want to have to log into something, right, to actually take a course. And I'm finding that a lot of people in our courses are not completing them, or they're skipping around, or they're just kind of like signing up for something, paying for something, and then never coming back. And that's frustrating to me because I want people to actually get results and actually get have a good experience that actually transforms their lives in some relevant way to what they signed up to change. All right, so let's drag an episode image here. which is really the same image that I'm using over and over again for this particular course. If you notice before, I dragged an audio file from my desktop and just dumped it there. Here's a short summary. Right, it's not really proper English, but this is what the episode is about. Here's the author. It defaults to Mindful Marketplace, which also is incorrect English because I spelled it wrong. But let's just change this to Ian, which is me. And keywords we're going to skip because that's not really important for this demonstration. And episode number, this is auto-filled by virtue of the sequencing that Transistor is doing behind the scenes for you. So the last episode was number 6, and I didn't have to change this to number 7. It's just right there for me. This is where you add and embellish a description and note or the show notes. And again, I'm not going to do this here because it would just take too much time to write it out. But I could just dump in some content. If you have that in some other text file, but I'm just going to make a note. Okay, so this is a note that these are the notes, right? And you're really done at this point. You have an explicit content, kind of toggle or checkbox there, which we're going to skip because certainly that's not part of our concern here. And then 3 subscribers, including the one that I just added, being myself, at the hey.com address, are now going to get this email as soon as this audio is processed. All right, so I'm publishing, and the episode has been added successfully. This audio is being processed, as you can see. And pretty much this is done, right? So there's a new episode which is going to be emailed, and so several things. It's going to be available to me via my Apple Podcast app, right? So I'm going to get an immediate update on my phone. I'm also going to get an email telling me there's a new episode, which I can either listen to on my app or I can listen to via a browser, and I can also add this into our circle, right? So actually, when this is going to be delivered in reality, it's actually going to be within the circle, a niche community that we have, and within Podia, and it gives us the ability to repurpose this private content, this private feed, to this private audio content to just the right segments of our larger audience that have signed up for this particular piece of our platform. All right, so let's go back to Hey. I have to actually approve them. Let's go back. And here you have it. Episode number 7 is available. Actually, the delay was only because I had to approve Transistor through my email client to actually accept this email. Let's go into that. Let's get away from that. Come on. All right, so that's annoying. I mean, I don't want the... Oh, are you kidding me? This is purely a function of Hey now trying to, add in a, an educational sort of onboarding thing, which I don't need. All right, there you have the email, the episode which we just added. This is the email, and it's... Let me go back and make sure I'm opening the right thing. That was really annoying. Here it is. It's this. Oh, God, stop that. Okay, new episode, lesson number 7, how to add a private episode to your Transistor.fm members-only feed. This is the title that we of the Transistor feed that we just added to that particular, private members-only feed. I'm saying that badly. And let's click on that, and you'll see here is that episode. This is a note, and these are the notes. If you recall, that's actually what I put into the the notes, the show notes. So if you embellish that properly, all those show notes will be here with links, etc., formatting options that give you the ability of linking out to other things, right? Other pieces of your community, other parts of your platform, ebooks, other, your calendar, whatever you can imagine doing or offering to your audience, that would be relevant here. And if you go back to the view more episodes, you'll see here are the list of episodes, including the one that we last listened to a couple minutes ago, right? That's that's telling me that it's been played. All right, and then you can see here, show unlisted episodes. This will remove the one that we listened to already. So it gives a simple way for your customers, your clients, your community to curate the the elements of what they've actually consumed versus what they haven't. Again, I'm saying that badly as well. So I'm going to stop, right? That's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing else really to this. All right? All this is all available for anybody who is using the transistor.fm platform on the middle plan and above. So I think the middle plan, the one that we're on, you get one private podcast. If you're on the next plan up, you get 3 private podcasts, which allow those of us who are teaching courses to create either individual courses, or you can just create one massive feed that that just has all of your courses. It's kind of how you choose to stage and structure your business. In our case, we're not just using Transistor, we're using a couple other private podcasting publishing platforms. But if I had to pick one of them to stick with overall, right, rather than we have courses on some different communities, I would use Transistor just because of the beauty in the software is really designed beautifully, and it just allows you to do lots of very cool marketing centric things that some of the other platforms don't do quite as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, hi@mindfulmarketplace.com. Again, I'm not a Transistor or a podcasting expert, but I do think I can claim expertise in creating content that converts, and I do think that this is really a real true innovation in the audio and publishing space for folks who want to build personal brands or publishing platforms around courses and communities in a very sexy and seamless way. Okie doke. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.